Rainollon here. Today is another build showcase and it's Warframe buffer build. So let us immediately start. Let's start with the mods first. So the mods I'm using my Warframe buffer build. Growing power for ability strength, prime shot footed for knockback immunity, Arcane stretch for ability range and also energy economy when you proc electricity on enemies, which is quite easy on Volt. Adaptation for 9% damage reduction. Energy nexus for energy over time, which is quite good in another layer of energy economy. Fast deflection for shield recharge and delay. Prime continuity for ability duration. Blind range lowers the efficiency, but we have plenty of energy economy here, so it's not that big of a deal, and also gives you a huge amount of ability strength. Shock Trooper, which is an augment for his first ability. I'm going to talk about this very soon. And Primary Direction. He's a shield Warframe and he likes shields, so Primary Direction gives you a huge amount of shield. And yeah, those are the mods. For the Arcanes, Arcanes. On shield damage, there's a 3% chance to trigger and gives you a flat 30 shield recharge for 12 seconds. When this triggers, you're pretty much unkillable for the next 12 seconds. The only thing that can kill you is like a toxin proc that bypasses your shield, but that's like a couple of enemies that you just don't have to worry about. And Molt Augmented, and when you kill 250 enemies, you have a permanent 60 ability strength, which you can lose when you die, so try not to die. And it's a quite good arcane. So those are the arcanes. For the stats, shield is really high thanks to primary direction. Our shield recharge delay is 0.6, which means the moment we stop taking damage, our shields will immediately start. And the shield recharge rate is 176.1 shield per second. And on top of all of that, if Arcanes procs, you are just, like I said, unkillable. For these stats here, duration is absolutely fine, you don't need more than this. Efficiency is negative, like I said, we have plenty of energy economy. Range is more than enough to give yourself, your allies, all of the buffs and speed. And ability strength is also more than enough to give your allies a bunch of buffs and speed. So those are the stats. For the abilities, the passive sucks, let's ignore it. The first ability, Shock, it sucks. It can trigger Arcane Stretch, but in my opinion, you should not trigger Arcane Stretch with your first ability, it's just a waste of time. But we do have a augment for his first ability called Shock Trooper. What it does is when you hold your first ability, you give yourself and your allies electricity damage, which is a separate electricity damage increase, which is quite good. So if you like using melee influence, you don't need to equip a electricity mod anymore. So you can just use Shock Trooper to give us electricity, and you're going to proc melee influence. This also doesn't mean that you're buffing only your melee weapons, you're also buffing your primaries and secondaries and archering, which is quite good. Second ability, Speed, give yourself and allies a speed multiplier, which is very good. Reload speed and also attack speed for your melee weapons, which is really good. Third ability, you summon a shield in front of you. When enemy is shooting the shield, pretty much nothing bypasses the shield. Not only that, you can equip the shield by pressing X on it when you're very near it, and you're carrying the shield with you, and you have in front of you a shield that just ignores projectiles, which is quite good. Not only that, it gives you 50% extra damage when you shoot through the shield, which is really good. And fourth ability, I removed it, replaced it with Nourish. Nourish has a multi-purpose use. First things first, it gives you viral damage, so you don't have to build viral at all. Gives you energy multiplier, which is also really good. And also when enemies shoot you, release a shockwave that staggers enemies and proc viral on them, which is also really good. Not only that, the energy multiplier does work on energy nexus and Arcane Stretch. So when you proc Arcane Stretch or pretty much use Nourish, the multiplier is going to be much higher on these two, which is quite good. So you're going to have a constant massive energy regeneration over time. And not only that, energy pickups like energy orbs will give you more energy. So there is a multi-purpose use here, and there's a lot of synergy, which I really like. Not only that, if you want to proc this very easily without pressing your first ability, what you can do is grab your third ability, your shield, and bump into enemies, which will proc electricity, which will trigger Arcane Stretch. So you're going to always have this, massive amount of energy multiplier, viral damage, electricity damage, movement speed, extra damage. You see, like, you're going to be very tanky, very fast, buffing every weapon. You're going to feel very powerful and very good. So yeah, that's pretty much it here. Those are the abilities, the stats, the mods, the arcane, and yeah. Now for the shards. So the shards I will highly recommend going for. One yellow shard for cast speed, which will change how your abilities feel. They're going to be much faster and it's quite noticeable. And for the other shards, it's definitely going to be all crimson plus 10 to 15 ability strength shards. If you have a Tower Forge, just use the Tower Forge version. If you don't, just use the regular version. You're going to get like, what is it, 40% if you use the regulars, and you get like 60% if you use the Tower Forge version, which will buff all of your abilities for you and your allies, which is quite noticeable. Another option I will recommend is using the purple shards. If you like your primaries, pick the one that gives you plus 3% primary electricity damage, and you gain additional 10% if you have the red shard, the azure, I think that's the blue shard, and the purple shard, which will make your primary weapon do a lot more damage, and it's quite noticeable. And you're like, where do I get electricity? Your first ability gives you electricity, which is with the augment. And yeah, this is another layer, you can build it, but if you don't want to focus on one weapon type, just put all your crimson ability strength shards here and you're absolutely fine. So yeah, those are the shards. Now let's start the mission. So I'm going to use Warframe, which is a pretty solid weapon, Symphotes, which is something that Volt really likes, and I'm going to use my Chariot just to pick up my energy orbs and ammo. So yeah, those are the weapons I'm going to use to show you Volt. So let us start. So now I'm in a Steel Path tile set against the Ganir, level 130 I think, it's default set in the tile set survival. I'm going to now use my buffs in game now. So you press your fourth ability, Nourish, for energy economy, viral damage. Hold your first ability to give yourself Shock Trooper to give yourself electricity damage. Third ability, you place it down, you can grab it or leave it here and shoot through the shield to do 50% extra damage. To grab it, you will see interaction right here. Press X and you grab it, and your shots will do 50% extra damage. And of course, your second ability, massive movement speed for you and your entire team. So now I'm going to spawn in the Ganir, Steel Path, in a really ugly tile set I really don't like. Oh, it's the exact same room. Let me get out of this room first. But yeah, it's disgusting. Like, Boar, even without buffs, is a really powerful weapon, but with buffs and Volt, it's quite good. You give him a lot of power, so you get like 50 extra damage when you shoot through the shield, electricity, viral, so you don't have to build viral at all. You're also very fast. Like, I'm moving forward and holding left click and everything is dying really fast. It's very effortless, you're very tanky. I'm going to allow enemies to shoot me. Once they do damage to me, there's a chance for it to proc Arcanes. Arcanes will give you that constant shield recharge, like constant, as you can see here. They damage me and my shield is immediately charging back. Come on, proc Arcanes again please. There we go. They shoot me, immediately goes back to full. It's going to be really hard for you to die. You also have adaptation system, which is adaptation mod, 9% damage reduction, a lot of shield recharge, very fast shield delay. Even if Arcanes doesn't proc, you're really tanky for majority of the content, like 80 to 90% of the content. You can easily do it with eyes closed. Let me use my buffs again. Yeah, it's just very easy. There's also survival, and survival is like the only game mode that constantly spawns enemies. So you constantly have to kill something and stuff to keep yourself alive. And if you're surviving in this content, exterminate, capture, excavation, defense, all of that is like easy. And yeah, that's pretty much it here. Now I'm going to use my melee weapon. So my Symphotes has influence but doesn't have electricity mod. Thanks to my first ability's augment, I give myself electricity, which I can now easily proc influence. And that's also, there we go, influence proc there, influence proc over there. It's quite nice. Like, any weapon now can easily equip influence. If you have some kind of weapon that has a really hard time putting like electricity mod, your first ability gives you electricity, but it's a separate electricity damage. It doesn't combine with elements, which is one of the best changes they ever did. And you can make some weapons that are not really influence friendly into influence friendly, which is really nice. And yeah, he's also really good with slam builds. He has a really fast recovery thanks to his second ability, speed. Gives you a massive attack speed increase. And that attack speed has a good recovery on the slams. It's nearly instantaneous, which is amazing, and also really good access to influence. Viral, energy economy, survivability, all of that is here in one build. I fixed everything, every problem that the Volt buffer has, and it just feels very nice. Boom. They have no chance against me. So now, I'm just going to wait for the Acolyte to spawn to show you how tanky am I against the Acolyte, if the Acolyte survives more than 5 seconds. But yeah, it's just going to be like this every mission for me. So yeah, let's wait for the Acolyte. Alright, here comes the Acolyte. Malice, sure, why not? Boom, slammer. Yep, good luck surviving this. There we go. It didn't even do any damage to me. I think he did use some kind of ability on me, but I think my third ability just neutralized that ability on that attack. And yeah, that's against the Acolyte. Sadly, the Acolyte didn't do much. I wish it did something more. But yeah. That's Steel Path, Ganir. I didn't die once. I was not even near death at all. Yeah, that's pretty much it there. Buffer. I really like buffer Warframes a lot. Sadly, a lot of Warframes are now becoming buffers. They have like 1 or 2 abilities that give themselves buff for your weapons and some sort of buff to give yourself survivability. But yeah, that's it. That's Volt Prime buffer build. And yeah, I hope you enjoy. So here you have it. That's the Volt Prime buffer. I hope you enjoyed the build. Thank you everybody for watching. Leave a like, sub, and see you all next time. Thank you. Goodbye.